here. Go home to mommy.
This is a super spicy meatball. Now, many of you know that, of course, the X-Men 97, a beloved show from many of our youths. Obviously, you were a 90s kid. And if you're like me, X-Men, the cartoon, the 97 cartoon was how you got introduced to the X-Men. Nobody was really all that excited about the remake. Of course, we turned down the voluptuous curves of many of the female characters. And of course, the showrunner is some sort of woke weirdo because that's how it works. Well, they have now been unceremoniously fired. And there is a absolute cyclone of drama and questions around his firing just days before the show goes live. Now, in my opinion, in order to get Disney to fire a black gay man a week before his show premieres, I think people say he's gay. I wish I didn't know that about people, but that's the social media now. It has to be absolutely wild. Wild. Now, since then, he's deleted all of his social media. There's a rumor that he was fired because he created an OnlyFans, which seems unlikely. That seems very unlikely to be the, the only reason. Now, the Hollywood Reporter has a story, and it's wild. They just, deleted him from existence. Let me put it this way. If you're a POC LGBTQ person and you get fired unceremoniously from Disney, whatever you did has to be heinous. I mean, this guy's probably going to jail. I can't think of something other than being a Republican that would get you ousted from Disney this quickly and with no explanation. Earlier this month, Beau DeMayo was in the midst of particularly busy time at Marvel Studios. The writer-producer was preparing for the launch of X-Men 97, the Disney Plus series he created. He never created that. Anyway, as a continuation of the beloved 90s Fox Kids show. DeMayo, a Marvel regular, who previously wrote on live-action series Moon Knight, as well as early drafts of the company's delayed but still upcoming vampire thriller Blade, which is going to be... Didn't they want to make him a Muslim or something like that in that movie? I have no interest in a PG-13 remake of Blade. The trilogy stands alone. And just like many films, just like Jurassic Park, just like John Wick, the order of their first movie is their best, and it's all downhill from there. Anyway, he was lining up press, making plans to attend the show's Hollywood premiere today. He was even discussing loose ideas for a third season with members of his team. But earlier this week, Marvel and DeMayo suddenly parted ways. His company email deactivated, and the cast and crew informed he was no longer on the project. DeMayo's Instagram accounts, once a source for X-Men updates, deleted. No reason for the firing given. I can tell you this is probably putting your hands on somebody or sending pictures to unwanted recipients type of thing, or theft. But I feel like financial theft is more difficult. It's not like you're a small business. You could just crack the safe open. Marvel has no comment. They even commented when they fired Gina Carano, DeMayo's representative did not return calls for comment, and emails to the showrunner yielded no response. It was a surprising turn of events on the eve of the show's March 20th debut. Splitting with the writers is a normal part of business for Marvel or any studio. However, it's extremely unusual for the top creative on Marvel project to miss a premiere or cancel press last minute, even if they've been shuffled to the side. Most Marvel premieres feature multiple screenwriters walking the red carpet, some of whom have been rewritten by other writers also walking the carpet. Marvel announced DeMayo's hiring back in November 2021. The move met with some level of excitement, as a scribe brought an identity as a gay black man to the project and made a point in talking to the press about how growing up the adopted son to white parents with a Korean sister in the South made the X-Men characters and their struggles for acceptance by society feel personal to him. His silence on social media has been acute, as he was a prolific poster, sharing X-Men tidbits as well as shirtless pictures of himself at the gym. For a time, he also ran a non-spicy OF account, all of which inspired by the LGBTQ publication Out to declare him as the gay Marvel writer and showrunner to know. So in terms of if he ran this OF account and it was nothing, it was just shirtless pictures or whatever, I can't imagine Disney would have a problem with that. I assume that he's had that for some amount of time. I would assume that the fact that Disney isn't saying anything about this means it's actually a pretty serious offense. Again, or he came out and supported Donald Trump. I say that kind of only in jest. But, for context, I cannot think of another time that a high-profile person has been fired from Disney with absolutely no conversation around it, no reasoning for it, no context, no explanation, nothing. Just gone. And when you layer into the fact of, how modern Marvel is, how modern Disney is, how they worship LGBTQ, they worship POCs, whatever this guy did has to be heinous. Back in May of 2023, he announced that he would be deleting his Twitter account after he was attacked by users accusing X-Men 97 of whitewashing the character Sunspot with the casting of a Brazilian actor in the role. X-Men 97. Oh, that actually works the other way? Wait, Sunspot. That's kind of a deep cut from X-Men. Now, that was a thing in the black community, though. When you look at a lot of the rhetoric around Bo DeMeo, a lot of people talk about, this Sunspot controversy, which again, I don't think, obviously that's not an issue. That's not an issue. But everyone wants to know what exactly happened. Now, of course, X-Men 97 continues the story of X-Men the Animated Series, which ran from 1992 to 1997, and is credited with introducing a generation of children to the mutant characters and priming the pump for X-Men movies in early 2000s. A number of voice actors from the original show are also returning, with this nostalgia factor helping propel the first trailer to become the most watched promo for a Disney Plus animated show. DeMeo was among the kids who grew up watching the show, said the showrunner in June 2022. Anyone who feels different, we all have Magneto inside of us. We all have Charles Xavier. We all have a part of us that wants to burn it all down. There's a part of us who wants to find the compromise and build it all up. And those comics really helped me to understand my identity. I mean, to be honest with you, sounds like he was a legitimate fan of X-Men. A legitimate fan of the source material. Of course, everything now, gets the woke treatment. But it's odd because, the reason for the firing is not being revealed, but the subject will no doubt be the subject of questions during the show's upcoming press tour. IGN has reached out. DeMeo relationship with Marvel Studios extended well beyond X-Men, having written for Moon Knight as well as the long-in-development Blade film outside of Marvel. He has credits in The Witcher franchise too, having worked in the live-action Netflix show, as well as the animated film, The Witcher, Nightmare and the Wolf. I mean, I haven't seen anybody, the fact that he deleted all social media accounts doesn't bode well either. Either they found something old or something new is about to drop and they're getting ahead of it. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, my mind has to go to, something pretty bad for Disney to just fire this individual. Paul Tassi too talks about it. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows. As for what happened to DeMeo, this is via Forbes and X-Men 97. It sounds serious. While creators often leave project, this is incredibly sudden and full of cutoff from the looks of it. And a full-on cutoff from the looks of it. And it doesn't sound like, quote, creative differences or someone who was simply disliked. There will likely be further reporting on exactly what happened here, but for now, too much speculation is going on to be helpful. If X-Men 97 does live on after season 1, it will not be with DeMeo. I don't know. I'm gonna guess if I had to be sure, or if I had to wager an actual guess and put money on it, there's probably a crime committed. That's my guess. And that's going to come out very soon. Probably on the day that X-Men 97 releases. Maybe somebody had some sort of dirt on him and they let Disney know, hey, guess what? On the day that X-Men 97 releases, we're releasing this expose. I have a feeling that if anything's really going to drop, it's going to be right around peak talking time about that show. I could be completely off, but I think for Disney to fire a LGBTQ POC, the crime is going to have to be very significant. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.